Isn't rolling out pie dough just the most frustrating thing ever? Well, there's good news. It doesn't have to be, and I'm gonna show you. There's a couple things that you need to think about when you're getting ready to roll out your dough. So ideally you want the dough to be chilled, but not too chilled because then it's too hard to roll. And instead of the butter spreading as you're rolling, it's gonna start cracking apart. And that's why you wanna temper it. And in order to do that, I would just take it out of the fridge 20 to 30 minutes before you wanna roll out. The amount of time that's gonna take for your dough to temper is gonna depend on your environment. The next thing to consider is exactly how you're gonna roll it out and how much flour you're gonna wanna use on the surface of your bench. So you don't wanna go in with so much flour that you're actually gonna dry the dough out, but you also wanna have enough that it can still slide and move around on your bench. And a really easy way to know if you have enough, the right amount, is if you can easily move the dough around along the bench, right? So you can periodically stop, feel if it's stuck anywhere. If it is stuck, you can get a bench knife like this or a bowl scraper and just get underneath it to help lift it. If you don't have one of these, I've also found it really useful to use like a thin metal ruler if you have something like that, or even an offset spatula. To help me get a really good circle and a really even circle, what I like to do is I like to spin the dough as I'm working, right? Because the amount of force I can push from right here standing straight up, right? From right here standing straight up versus when I have to lean forward a little bit because I'm getting that edge of the dough. That's a different amount of force, and it's extremely difficult to equalize that. So you're better off just spinning the dough so that each side gets your full close-up force and your lighter far away force. That's going to help you get a rounder product, and it's also going to incentivize you to keep checking and turning the dough to make sure it's not sticking to the table. Another thing that you can do to help you control the shape of your dough is by applying pressure strategically. So by this I mean, if I am turning the dough and it's kind of taller on one side of the circle than on the other side of the circle, what I can do is I can apply extra pressure on one side of the circle where it's not quite moved as much as I want. So I'm still rolling the whole thing, but I'm going to be a little extra pressure over here. That's going to coax that dough out like that, while this one is going to move a little bit less, and that's going to help you correct the shape. For more kitchen tips and tricks, recipes, and stories about my life as a chef, go ahead and give me a follow. And check out my Substack, The Stove and All, where you can get tons of free recipes, advice, and more stories. I hope to see you there.